Good evening, folks, and welcome to a very special live book launch. I'm Tim Mendees, and tonight I'm going to be joined by a few guests. I will introduce them as I go along. Tonight we are basically promoting the launch of the anthology Banned from Black Hare Press. It's an anthology of horror stories based on sort of rock bands and stuff like that, with a bit of a twist, was that every story had to be named after a song and kind of influenced by that kind of thing. We'll hear a little bit more about what everybody chose and everything like that. But tonight, what we're going to be doing, because this is coming out in 2 editions, already released is this little baby, which is Banned Drabbles. Now, contrary to what some people may think, these aren't excerpts in here. These are standalone drabbles, which work as prequels to basically the main course, which is in the book. So we're going to read these and we're going to talk about it, and we're also going to we'll open up for a live Q&A with the audience. So if you have any questions, get them down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push on and get my first guest. Now, this guest, if anybody's ever seen my series After Hours, will need no sort of introduction. All the way from sunny Galway, here he is, Mr. David Green.
So I'm just laughing.
I said the Costa del Galway last time.
Yeah. It could not be further from the truth. Although I know it's quite sunny but very cold. Like I was saying before, it was 2 degrees today, which is wonderful.
Makes a bit of a difference, doesn't it? Take the edge off it a little bit.
Yeah, like, you know, it's either a cold sun or rain. So like, you know, whatever, really. Whatever.
You do. Just go with it.
What can you do? Nothing. Move. No. Well, you can't even move these days if I wanted to. I can't.
Exactly. You got to stay indoors, mate. You got to stay inside.
Yeah, it's like Escape from New York, but a whole country.
Yeah,
surrounded by water. So yeah, that's it really. Like that's just the way it is, and you got to deal with the cold and.
Yeah. So aside from the weather, you're doing all right then, mate?
Yeah, very good. Quite drunk, which is nice. And started early today. Yeah, well, you know, it's Friday and it's 9 o'clock here, and I was watching The Mandalorian and getting very giddy, and I thought I'll have a drink because this is a great episode, and I thought I'm going to see Tim soon, so I might as well have a few more drinks. And, you know, that's it is.
Right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to leave you to it for a couple of minutes. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, so my drabble and story in Banned is called From Her to Eternity, which is the name of a Nick Cave song from one of his earlier albums. I'm a big Nick Cave fan. Strange enough, it's not one of my favourite Nick Cave songs, but when I saw The Call, it kind of just popped into my head, and the story then kind of just came from there pretty quickly, from the title From Her to Eternity. So it's kind of a doomed romance kind of story, I suppose, but I'll read you the drabble and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the main story. So, From Her to Eternity by David Green. Catherine, you've got to go. Long day of recording tomorrow. Her lips brush against my neck, fingers tracing my chest and down my abdomen. I met Catherine at a bar earlier tonight. She is intoxicating. It can wait, Nick, she whispers. Aren't the vocals done last? I try to answer, but the words disappear when her hand reaches my crotch. Catherine nibbles at my neck. You worry too much, she murmurs. Let me help. I close my eyes and surrender. The nibble at my neck turns to a pleasurable pain as her teeth pierce my skin and I slide into darkness. So that's the drabble. So the story is about a band, and the main character is the lead singer of the band, and he's kind of a Liam Gallagher kind of character. He just sings, doesn't do anything else in the band. He's a good vocalist, but likes to party and all this kind of stuff. takes the tours that they do around America and everywhere else for granted, really. And he meets Catherine, who changes his life. And as you can kind of guess from the end of it, she turns him into a vampire. Now, I wrote this one and I was like, yes, this is going to be okay. And then I sent it in and I was like, everyone's going to do rock band vampires. Why did I choose this one? But anyway, that's what I did. And obviously the main character is called Nick after Nick Cave as well. So the story then is how he changes from becoming a vampire. It has his kind of first kill, and he uses their tours as a cover for going to feed, basically. But he's actually searching for something. He's searching for, I guess, something to fill the hole that he feels, because now he finds life completely differently. And he finds someone who may have some knowledge of who he is or what he is. And that's basically the story. So if you read it, I hope you enjoy it. I wrote it a long time ago now, but I think it's quite good. I think it's quite funny, and it's darkly romantic as well, which is kind of strange for me. I'm not much of a romance writer, but we all have it in us, apparently, especially Tim, who, please come back, Tim, and stop me talking. Thank you.
I am back, sir. I am back. It's funny you say that, because somebody actually posted a thing in one of the groups a while ago. What is your writer kryptonite? So for me, it's a case of two. It's either romance or drabbles. Which is kind of ironic, considering I'm reading a drabble tonight.
Yeah, and my drabble was a kind of romance drabble. It's weird, like I say, like I'm not much of a romance writer, but most of the stuff that I write has some kind of romance in it for some strange reason. Maybe I'm just a romantic at heart, but my wife...
I think you are, mate. I think you are.
My wife doesn't agree with that.
What did Christopher Mary Holtman call you when we did that round table? The ever-loving David Green?
Oh, he did, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, I will see you very soon, mate. I'm going to just knock you off. I'm going to get the next guest on. I'm going to get Trisha on, because we've got a couple of newbies after that who are not. So giving them time to sort of take in what they're going. So it's Trisha Mckee. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
I'm well.
Excellent. It's been a while since I've actually spoke to you properly.
Right.
Obviously, I've spoken to you online, the messages and stuff. But we had a really good chat a while ago, which is on my YouTube channel. Yeah, we should do that again. You should come on after hours at some point. That'd be great.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Yeah, wonderful. So you're Pennsylvania, aren't you?
I am. Yes, yeah. Pennsylvania, small town in Pennsylvania.
Nice. Must be really nice at this time of year, sort of fall. Wintering. I mean, nice by my standards of nice.
I guess I like summer weather, but before the holidays, I like when it's cold and snowy. After that, I don't like it.
Right. So, are you ready to read your drabble and give us a little bit about what it is? Sorry to have dumped you. Sorry, you came in quite late and I didn't have time to brief you properly. I apologise for that.
That's okay, my fault.
No, it's not your fault. These things happen. Okay, so if you're ready, I will leave you to it.
I'm ready. Thank you.
Because I didn't have any signal with David. When you want me to come back, just give me like a thumbs up or something.
Okay.
Yeah, just sort of do. Yeah, no, I'll come back. Just say come back. I don't know.
Sounds good. Okay, so my story, the title is Here Comes My Girl, and it's Tom Petty. Anyone that knows me knows, huge Tom Petty fan. And it just worked out because the title did fit the theme of my story. Here Comes My Girl. Susie did as they asked and left everything behind. They ushered her to a secluded cabin and put her through training. Voice and dance, the history of the band, the way to answer questions during an interview. But the true test came when a lady arrived with herbs in her hand and chants on her tongue. The true test came when Susie was no longer Susie. They placed that guitar in her hands and she played with the fire of a true talent, of a soul thought to be long gone. She played as if her life depended on it. And oh, hi, Jennifer, book wife. And this is the Drabble, and the main story pretty much focuses on, there are always those conspiracy theories that a singer has somehow tragically died, and there's a replacement because you don't want to lose that momentum. You know, a popular singer gets a lot of, brings in a lot of money for a lot of people. So I've always been fascinated by that. Like, is it true? You know, how do they do that? How do they replace someone to look and perform just like the original? And that's where this story comes in. And the main story just kind of follows that. It's almost like Pet Sematary meets any sort of rock star movie. And I had a lot of fun with this. I actually, as soon as I got the call for the anthology, I knew what I wanted to do with it. I wanted to explore that conspiracy theory a bit more, put a little twist to it, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Thank you.
Hello.
I'm ready. I'm ready for you to go back.
I've used this once before, and I didn't use half of the functions, and I'm actually getting really confused. That's why I'm really sorry for distracting you there, because I was trying to reply to Jennifer's comment, but I clicked it and it came up on the screen. So here we go.
It came up right as I was done. So yes, book wife. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have two book wives, Allison and Jennifer.
Excellent. Brilliant. Yeah, no, David Green's probably my book husband. If I have such a thing, it's probably David Green. We have actually discussed on a number of occasions that we're in so many projects together. We should just move in.
Right. There is a small group of us that seem to go toward the same anthology.
Yeah, we're all in the same sort of anthologies, and yeah, it's cool. It's a nice little community, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is wonderful.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. I really like the sound of that, and I want to pick up on a point you made there about the replacement thing.
Yes.
Which will lead me nicely into my next guest, because the one I thought of as soon as you said that was Paul McCartney.
Yes.
Because there was that whole thing with the Beatles, was Paul McCartney dead?
Yes.
Yeah. That's as soon as you said that, I thought that was a really interesting thing to cover, because I can't think of anybody who's really explored that in that much detail. I'm looking forward to reading that. But thanks for that. I will get you back on in a minute. That brings me nicely to my next guest, which is Holley Cornetto, originally from Alabama, now living up in New Jersey. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. You said some of us are newbies, so I'm one of the newbies.
Yep.
So guys, please be gentle. Hi.
Yeah. We should have worked out a safe word. I think avocado is the usual one, isn't it?
Hopefully not necessary.
Yeah, so why I say it was a good lead into you, because your song is a Beatles song.
Yes.
So yeah.
I guess I should mention I kind of cheated. The title of my drabble, which I'll get into when I read, is While My Guitar Gently Weeps, which is a Beatles song. But a lot of the inspiration for the story and the drabble itself was actually a Tenacious D song called Tribute. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tenacious D.
I'm familiar. I think everyone's familiar with that song. I mean, that you couldn't walk out the house without hearing that for a while.
Right. And I love those guys because they love rock and roll and they have so much fun with it. Like, you can see when Jack Black and Kyle, when they do their Tenacious D thing, like, that they are just exuding joy. It's just love of music, love of rock and roll. And that's kind of part of what I wanted to capture in my story. But I guess I'll get into that when I talk a little more about it.
I will disappear. You seem to have it nailed. So I'll see you soon.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So it's good to be here, and this is my first live streaming event. So as I mentioned, hi, and it's nice to see you. My drabble and my story for this collection is called While My Guitar Gently Weeps. And when I saw the call for stories for this, I had to write something. I love music. Music's been a huge part of my life for a long time. So here's my drabble, and I hope you enjoy. Dude, I fucking sold my soul. Know what it got me? Nothing. Jason collapsed onto the couch. Not nothing. Kelly sat beside him. You shred guitar like it's fucking Wheaties, man. I wanted to be the best guitarist since Slash. What I didn't say was, I want to be famous, or I want to go platinum. And you know why? Because my stupid ass thought being good was good enough. He reached for the closest bottle of Heineken, sniffed, and downed it. You know what we need? Kelly said, kicking a bag of Cheetos across the floor. We need an epic fucking song. So that's the drabble. And the story picks up with Kelly and Jason on their quest, I suppose, to play and learn and record the best song in the world. So as I mentioned, I grew up in the very deep South. I'm originally from Alabama, and I grew up during the time, I think it's referred to now as the Satanic Panic. A lot of that had to do with the culture of Dungeons and Dragons and rock and roll. And a lot of the fundamentalist Christian groups were fighting back against that. Like, it was considered by some to be Satanist, to be dark magic, to be evil. And all that kind of influenced my story and what I was writing. Because growing up in that, being a teenager and, loving rock and roll and being told all the time, like, this is bad, this is something you shouldn't do. Obviously, being a rebellious teenager, the things that I wanted to do. So my story has a bit of that. We have, the darker side of rock and roll and where that can go. But I also tried to infuse my love of music. So hidden in my actual short story, I have about 28 musical references in there. Song lyrics, references to bands or members of bands, or references to songs that I all kind of peppered in throughout the text of the story, either through dialogue or descriptions, just to kind of have fun and kind of play with the readers and give you guys like a little wink, wink, nudge. So I hope that when you read the story itself, that you pick up on some of these references and you can kind of see, get to know me musically, like the music that I loved growing up, still love and still listen to. So I tried to infuse that into the story as well as kind of a personal touch. I think that's all, Tim. So
I'm back. Yeah, no, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, funny you say that. You haven't cheated at all, because if you have, so have I. Because I've got loads of stuff in mine as well. I'll go into that in a bit. That sounds brilliant. You've got some really cool. I love that kind of thing, looking for Easter eggs.
Yeah, and I tried, like, that was one of the things that why I loved writing the story so much, because I would have a line of dialogue or something and I'm like, oh, I can put a song lyric there. And it was really nice to do. Like, it made writing the story a lot more fun than, when you're just sitting and you're trying to hash something out without that background, knowing that I could do that. And I felt comfortable because it's, a band anthology. It's about music. It's celebrating music. So I was like, okay, I can do this. This is fine. No one's going to be aggravated with me for this.
Yeah. I've just realised I've had somebody else's banner up for the whole thing. Sorry. Your banner's still there. I'll put it back up in a bit.
Wait, over here. Here I am. There I am. Yes.
Sorry, like I said, I'm still getting used to this. This is new tech to me, and it's all a bit. I'm used to using pieces of cardboard with things scribbled on in felt pen. This is all a bit high tech. Yeah, old school is good. Blue. We call it Blue Peter chic over here.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
I made it up. Sorry. I'm trying to start a fashion trend. This is the only time I'm ever going to be fashionable. Anyway, yeah, no, thank you. That sounds absolutely great. I look forward to reading that, because I love stories that have that kind of, like, things you can sort of go, ooh. I mean, I do it in mine, and I hope somewhere someone is going to go, ooh, that's a Lovecraft reference, or ooh, that's a this reference or that reference.
I like that kind of.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I'll get it, because at least a couple of them, at least.
You'll have to send me a message and let me know. You have to be like, I saw this song and this song and this song.
I will. I'll actually take that challenge. That challenge. I'll do that. Excellent. I'll speak to you in a bit, Holly. I'm going to get Chris up now. Okay, all the way from sunny Southern California, Chris Bannor. Yeah. Also a newbie. How are you doing?
Doing good. How about you today?
Very good indeed. Yeah. Yeah. So, what story is yours again? Which one was yours?
Piece of My Heart.
Yeah, is that the Janis Joplin song?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome song. I was trying to think earlier because I was just looking at the back of the names, and I went, I know that. Why do I know that? Oh, it's Janis Joplin. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant. Excellent. So if you're again, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Wonderful. No. So
So this is my first time live streaming, so I hope it goes okay. I wrote my piece of my heart from Janis Joplin. When I first saw the call from Black Hare Press, I was really excited. I really wanted to write something for a band, and nothing came to me. Like, I could not come up with an idea for a story. And I happen to be working on something else, and I have a very long writer's playlist of songs that I put in, that just songs that touch me in some way. They might make me angry. They might make me sad. There's like no order to it all. It's just songs that I tend to have a very strong memory or a visceral reaction to. And as I was writing something else, Piece of My Heart came on. And it was one of my mom's absolute favorite songs. And when that played, I was like, oh, this is the song. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but this is the song I have to do. So that's how I ended up with Piece of My Heart by Janis Joplin. So I'll go ahead and read my drabble now. It's only when he plays, right? His mama asked. Of course. Columbus hid behind her legs, but the stranger bent his knees and grinned at him. His smile was pretty, but it reminded him of the guy that used to sleep in his mama's bed and gave him a bloody lip and made him lie to his mama about it. Just say yes, the old man said, teeth gleaming ivory like dog fangs. Come on, baby. Mama just needs this one thing of you. Yes. But Mama had that gleam in her eye, and he knew he'd just done something bad. So that is my my drabble, my prequel to Piece of My Heart, the full-length story. That story is more about Columbus as he's grown up, and he's a famous musician. He's traveling the United States on a tour at the time. And, you know, it's the idea of people selling their soul to become something better, something bigger. You want fame, you want fortune, all of these things. And in this case, this is the story of this little boy whose mom convinced him to sell his soul to become a amazing musician when he was just a child and not really old enough to understand what he was doing. And the story takes off with him as an artist, as a famous artist, and how that's affected his life. And the fact that as he's playing, as soon as he picks up his instrument, he is no longer in control of himself, and he blacks out, and there's somebody else performing for him. So that is what Piece of My Heart is about. I think that's all I've got to say, Tim. Come back and save me.
Again, that's one of them things that, that you hear about a lot, don't you? That guitarist sold his soul. I mean, there's the famous story of Robert Johnson on the Crossroads, isn't there? The blues guitarist who actually Raven Carluck did Crossroad Blues in this.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
But I don't know where she's taken it. I've not read it, so because obviously it's not out yet. No, but that's a great concept, and I love that. I love that bit at the end. He's playing, and then he's
it's
something
just,
else.
I love the idea. I wanted to play with the idea, like, what do you do? Like, he just blacks out, and you come back, and it's like, well, what happened? You know, it's also playing on that idea,
show,
like,
man. What?
like you talk about, like, the 80s musicians where it's all drugs and rock and roll, and like they'd wake up, 3 weeks later in a hotel, and where are they?
hang my head in shame now.
So it was some of that too, like just playing up that, you know, that party mentality. But in the case for this character, like he really has no idea because he was not there.
That's great. Yeah. Was it the drugs or was it the devil? I love it. I love it. Well, yeah, I'll see you in a bit. I'll just do my little bit now. I will see you soon. Thanks for that, Chris. Okay, yeah. Let's put my while I'm doing this little bit. I don't know if you've seen at the bottom, there's the little ticker. There's blackharepress.com. I'm going to change that now. If you want the Drabble book, which has all these segments that you're reading now and a whole bunch more. We'll get into some of the other songs chose later. I've got a little bit of an idea. I've just had a daft idea I'm going to run with. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you my Drabble. My story is called Body Electric, after a Sisters of Mercy song. It's their second single from 1982. It's a song I absolutely love. And I didn't realize at the time that I submitted it that Lana Del Rey has also done a completely different song called Body Electric. So when I submitted it and Dean sorted out from Black Hare Press, sorted out the playlist, he put the Lana Del Rey thing on. I was absolutely aghast. It's like, no, it's the Sisters of Mercy. So yeah, I'll tell you about it afterwards. But here we go. Drip, drip, drip. Blood splashed onto the plastic cassette box. Dan wiped his nose with the back of his hand, cursed, and wiped the cassette down his denims. Clicking the tape off and removing the headphones, he slipped the offensive recording back into his box and shuddered. Something about the music, if you could call it music, made his head feel funny. The relentless drone, punishing metallic beats, and agonized howling seriously affected his equilibrium. His vision had blurred, and his blood fizzed in his veins. He couldn't handle it, but he knew two dudes that could. That's the end of the Drabble. Yeah, and my story picks up with these two. Let me just say it's set in the very early 90s, and these are guys. They're based on people who A, I know, or B, I've seen. Also, it was also kind of influenced by a short sketch from Hale and Pace. They have two metalhead characters called Jed and Dave. And they're like, yeah, man, what are you doing? And they do this really short sketch. And it's about Jed's talking about he was playing an Ozzy Osbourne record backwards. And he heard these words say to him, "You're useless. Nobody likes you. Kill yourself." And Dave goes to him, "Was it the devil, man?" And Jed goes, "Nah, it was my mum through the keyhole." And that kind of influenced it, because when I was writing it, I thought about that time, and it goes back to what Holley was saying about when you had the big movement in America of like banning stuff, and the big case at the time was British band Judas Priest. They were took to court in America for because somebody killed themselves listening to one of their records, right? And their lawyer was like, they were playing it backwards, and if you listen to the song, it says "do it, do it, do it" when they played it backwards. Why that'd make you kill yourself, I've no idea. But anyway, but as the court case went on, the singer Rob Halford, who's from Birmingham, so he's got a Brummie accent, he got another Judas Priest record and played that backwards. And he was trying to point out that if you play any record backwards, at some point you will hear things that sound almost like words, and it's down to suggestion. And he played this backwards, and it was going zip, 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 zip. And he goes, now, if you listened carefully, you'll hear him say, "I want a peppermint. She said I could have a peppermint." And he played it, and seriously, you can hear it. And I just kind of ran with that. Where the Sisters of Mercy song comes in is because, as with a lot of things with me, I've taken it into a cosmic horror direction. And I was thinking of the claustrophobia in the song and electricity, and bodies conducting electricity, and basically it's these two misfit guys who decide they've had enough with metal, so they're going to embrace industrial, which was coming out that big at the time, and what I listened to a lot of. So all that discordance and pipe banging is stuff that I love, and yeah, and it just kind of went from there. It's hard to explain without giving anything away, which I'm sure everybody else has experienced. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop rambling and get everybody back. Hello, David.
So I was having an existential crisis then when I came back on.
Hello, Chris, and Trisha, and Holley, and we're all back. I didn't accidentally delete anybody by accident, which I've done before. So, yeah.
Thanks for not deleting us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're all welcome. So, yeah, right. So, like I say, we are going to take questions from the audience. So, if anybody out there has any questions, there is some comments. I'm just going to put up a couple of comments now, just because they're quite cool and some are quite funny. Here's one for Chris from Neen Cohen. Yep. Like a Janis story got in. Yeah, when I spotted it, when I figured it out, it was the Janis Joplin. I was kind of like, that's a cool song. I haven't listened to that in ages. I should dig that out.
It's an amazing song.
It is. My mom was like such a huge Janis Joplin fan, and she was like, nobody can sing this except her. Like anybody who tried to do a cover, she'd be like, but not good. Like it was just so iconic to her. And so that was, to me, honestly, like piece of my heart, the idea of a mom selling her kid's soul to become a famous musician. My mom was such a music lover. And it happens that my brother actually is a musician, is a local musician. And he did not sell his soul to anybody that I know of. If he did,
I've got a collection. I'll buy it if you want.
But like her love of music and her love of that song specifically really kind of pushed me in a direction with that story. So I was really excited to get into this with that story and share it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think, yeah, it's nice when that kind of thing, when you write something that's kind of almost like you have a personal stake in it. Because I know as writers, we all write things that they just come out of our heads, but we all have certain bits. I'm sure. I mean, I know I do. I'm sure you all do. That come from somewhere. If you know what I mean. I mean, mine comes directly from my misspent youth. I mean. That story is my misspent youth, pretty much. Yeah, let's have a look what other comments we've got. What we're going to do in a minute is we're going to go through the back of the book and have a look at some of the other songs that people have chosen, because there's some really interesting choices in there. And what you were saying about that, actually, to start with, we will go with something that for me is sort of close to my heart. Is Antonia Rachel Ward has chosen Transmission by Joy Division. It's good to. I'm really happy because I thought I'd be the only person putting a goth song on the playlist. Well, there's three. There's mine, there's David's, and there's hers. So yeah, it's like brilliant. Goth invasion has begun.
And it's a song from the northwest of England as well, from our neck of the woods.
Well, it's from my hometown, Macclesfield.
Yeah, Macclesfield. Yeah.
Brilliant. But back to what Chris was just saying about Janis could only do the definitive version. There's a song on here that I have a dilemma with, because I love the version that it was chosen. Where is it? Yes, it's Stephanie Schism, Michelle. Yeah, which is The Man Who Sold the World. But she has obviously gone for the Nirvana version, which is superb. Even if you're not a fan of Nirvana, the Unplugged set is absolutely superb. And I personally think that his version of The Man Who Sold the World is probably the best thing he ever sung. It was the best his voice ever was. It was just perfect. But it's never going to beat the Bowie original for me. It's never going to top David Bowie. Yeah. So what I thought we'd do is we go through them all the way along. I mean, I don't know half of the songs, but we'll go through and see what everybody thinks. Alana Robertson-Webb has chosen Fractured Fairy Tale. Does anybody know that?
No.
I can guess what it's about, though. I imagine it's got something to do with fairy tales.
Fractured ones. Yeah.
Fractured ones, especially.
Ones that have been dropped or something. Funnily enough, actually, because I don't know how far I'm going to go with this idea, probably not that far, but if you want to check out all of these songs that are featured in the book, we have a playlist on YouTube. And there you go. Just type that in, go to that, and there you go. You get the playlist with all our songs. Yeah.
So Tim, I wonder, could I point out like maybe my two favorites? Is that okay?
Yeah, I think actually we'll do that. We'll go round it. We'll go round. Okay. So I've just done mine. David, apart from your own, we'll go clockwise. Apart from your own, yeah, go for it. Your two favorite other songs on there.
So that's a tough one. Power Slave by Beth Patterson. Iron
Maiden, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a massive Iron Maiden fan, but I do, like it's a classic one of theirs.
Well, I'm not a massive fan either, but that's their like classic era, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's the early Dickinson era. It's yeah.
I can't really mention Hollies because as you know, Tim, I'm a huge Beatles fan. While My Guitar Gently Weeps is probably one of the best Beatles songs and probably George Harrison's best song. But obviously the story is about a different song altogether as well. As we now know. Geez, God, what would it be? Maybe Sex Type Thing by Simone Green on there.
Stone Temple Pilots, yeah?
Yeah.
That was a great album.
Yeah, I'm a big grunge fan, as you know. So Nirvana, Pixies, Stone Temple Pilots, that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Stone Temple Pilots, because they did that first album, which was absolutely superb, and then he just kind of vanished, and then he reappeared in, was it Velvet Revolver?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to say drugs.
Yes.
It's grunge, so it's probably drugs.
I was a huge fan, and yes, he died of an overdose. He was very unstable for a while, which is why he was in and out of a few bands. I think STP has recently, they have a new lead singer. So before COVID, I actually went to a concert with the new lead singer. It was actually quite good, and they sounded good because they've got all the other guys and the guys who actually wrote a lot of the songs are there. Yeah. So if you get a chance, I think they actually have an album out with the new singer. So if you guys like them, you might want to check it out because the new album was pretty decent.
It's similar to what they did with Alice in Chains, then I guess.
Yeah.
Just before we move on from that, I think my friend is actually listening. Hi, Matt, if you're still listening. He's a huge Stone Temple Pilots fan. And actually, he auditioned because he did an open audition for the new lead singer, and he auditioned. Wow, he's a great singer. Didn't get it, obviously, because it's not him, but he's a great singer as well. He's a great musician. But yeah, he's a big Stone Temple Pilots fan. So if you're still listening, I hope you enjoyed it. And,
buy the book.
Buy the
book. Right, yep, Chris. So, what two, apart from the one you wrote, what are your two favourites on there?
One, My Guitar Gently Weeps. Absolutely. It's just such an amazing song. So I'll second that as one of the best songs on there. I would also say, Who Wants to Live Forever?
Wants to live forever.
Yeah.
Highlander.
Exactly. Awesome. I associate it so strongly with that movie. But it's I love that song. I really do. But also I don't know. The idea of living forever and watching everybody die, and I associate that with that movie so much. It's very emotional. But no, I love that song.
Yeah.
I think it's a great song.
No, it is definitely a great song. Sorry, I just got distracted by something popping up there. Okay, Trisha, on to you. Your favorite other two tunes.
Okay, well, this is really funny because I'm a huge Nick Cave fan, and I actually considered, and I actually considered using the title "Nobody's Baby" now for my story, but I went in another
is that the one that I'm right, aren't I? Your funeral song.
Yes, that's it. I want that played at my funeral. Absolutely. Yes. How fitting. And the Janis Joplin, you can't beat that. That is just gold.
Class.
So,
it's great stuff. Yeah. Excellent. Right, I'll move on to Holley. And what I'll do now, because I cocked up your banner earlier, I'll put it on now.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry about that.
So one of my favorites is Teenagers. So if I'm not mistaken, this is a song by My Chemical Romance from their Black Parade album. And I was, young during that whole emo period. And this was my jam. I still love that album. I still listen to it often. So that one, for me, when I saw it, I was like, is that the My Chemical Romance one? And then, obviously. So that story was by Stephen. And I apologize, Stephen, if I butcher the pronunciation of your last name. I think it's Herzig. Again, I'm sorry if I said your last name wrong. And then the other is one that Tim mentioned, The Man Who Sold the World, Nirvana. Again, I loved all things grunge, and I was a big Nirvana fan. Still am. Same thing. I still listen to their Unplugged a lot. I like Lake of Fire personally, and I like the Where Did You Sleep Last Night? I think hearing Kurt Cobain sing, it's similar when we were talking about Janis Joplin. I think both of those singers in particular, they have a way of emoting their voice that you can feel like pain, you can feel sadness, like all these things when they sing. And it reminded me of something that Chris had mentioned earlier when she was speaking about how she has music that she listens to when she's, happy or sad or things that evoke emotion. I think those are two really emotional singers. So yeah, those would be my picks: the Teenagers and The Man Who Sold the World.
Excellent. Yeah, no, it was funny because when I saw Teenagers, I thought until I went on the playlist that it was a completely different song. I thought it was Teenagers by the Rolling Stones. So, so I was getting all excited because the Sisters of Mercy have covered it. So I was getting all excited, going, I'm going to count that before.
I thought it was Teenagers by Vampire Weekend as well. So, yeah, I missed the whole.
It's possible that I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure.
I think it is.
I've seen on the playlist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Holley, did you have the My Chemical Romance coat and everything? Those kind of army.
No, I didn't. But you know what? They actually were supposed to go on tour in 2020, and I had tickets. They were going to play a show up by me, and I had tickets, and it got postponed because of COVID and everything. So when I got an announcement that they're still going to do the concert, supposedly in 2021, and my tickets should still be good, so we'll see.
I've got about 8 gigs like that. I bought a load of them, right at the beginning of the year after Christmas and everything. It was right, this year going to go to loads of gigs. I'm going to that one. Bought a load of tickets and then
I have tickets to the Nick Cave one because he's in his 60s now, and I always think every time an album comes out, I'm always like, it might be his last album. So when he tours, I'm kind of I have to go and see them. So obviously he got tickets and it's been delayed. I think it's 2022. I think they've been rearranged for. I'm kind of man, he might have retired by then.
Trisha and I were talking about this a while ago, weren't we? We were talking about Nick Cave and So because you're a big fan as well. So.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I saw him recently. Well, not recently. A few years ago in Ireland, and it was an open air venue, and it started. It was in the middle of summer. It started. It was it's 9 o'clock. They came on. It was still daylight, and Nick Cave came on, and he was like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
It destroyed.
Tell you a funny story about Nick Cave.
The mystique.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. This will ruin it completely. He lives in the same town as me.
Yeah, he does.
He lives in Hope, and he's got a beach hut down on the seafront, right? which you can pretty much see throughout my flat window, and it's really brightly painted. And me and a mate were walking down the seafront, and we walked past this really brightly coloured thing, right? And out into the blazing hot sunshine in a pair of Speedos came Nick Cave. And another one, this same friend.
He's Australian. Like, he loves the beach.
Yeah. But this same friend, he owned a shop, like a band merch shop down on Trafalgar Street in Brighton. And I used to go on my break. I'm still working as a chef, and I used to split shifts. And I used to go on my break and go and hang out in his shop and just torment him and make a nuisance out of myself. And we were sitting there once, and it was near Christmas, and Nick Cave comes in looking really harassed. And he's my friend Chris, right? He's an old goth, same as me, right? So me and him are both sitting there going, "Oh my God, Nick Cave!" Like both sitting there going, and he's there looking around the shop, and he's like, looking really confused, and he's like, My son likes the Misfits. Have you got anything by the Misfits? And we sold him this really rubbish plastic Misfits clock. It was a really crap. So there you go, Nick Cave. Brilliant.
What a guy! What a guy!
Oh, he is. Yeah.
Did he look good in Speedos?
Not that day, no. On that day, in that day, he was in the black, head to toe in black, He looked more like Nick Cave first. But that time I saw him in his Speedos, it's like, it looks like Nick Cave. He's dude, that is Nick Cave. I'm crying. Yeah.
Everyone.
Another one I want to before we do anything else. Like I say, if anybody has any questions for any of us, get them in the comments and we'll ask them. Another one I want to bring up, because I mentioned his song, so I'm still allowed another one. I'm cheating. Is Just a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band, which was Greg Cunningham's track. Moody Blues, man. I'm a big Moody's fan. I grew up by my dad's Moody's collection, an early Floyd, so like Sid Barrett era, Pink Floyd, and all that kind of psychedelia. I think that's why I never really got into the Beatles very much, because I was into the really sort of psychedelic end of it. But I like the psychedelic end of the Beatles. I just don't do twee very much. That's why I've never really their really big hits aren't for me. But White Album's superb. Yeah, so I just wanted to make a point of saying that. Nice one, Greg. And we're so glad that you didn't change it to the Birdie song. Apparently, he was going to change his mind and go with the Birdie song.
What? That one?
Yeah.
Not sure it's really rock and roll, to be honest with you.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Well, saying that, I'm not really sure you could class Natalie Imbruglia as rock and roll.
Well,
it's a good song. It's a good song, but
people might. It was different. It was a different time, Tim, in the late 90s. It was a different time.
Mate, I'm still. I don't understand all this modern music. I was stuck in the 80s. Look at me. I've just fallen out of a portal from 1986.
Was there any, if you're looking at the playlist, was there any kind of bands that you thought you'd see on there but weren't, that you were surprised with?
That's a good question, yeah.
I thought some Queens of the Stone Age songs on there for sure.
Did you?
Yeah, because
I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, they're a big band, and they've got some good song titles.
I was expecting Iron Maiden, and we got it. Yeah. But I wasn't expecting Power Slave. I was expecting Run to the Hills or something like that. Metallica was the one I was expecting.
Yeah, Metallica. Yeah. Pink Floyd as well.
Surprised there isn't an Enter Sandman.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. Metallica are the campest band in the history of everything. I'm quite comfortable saying it. And the live one with the orchestra. Yeah, he sings like he's a WWE wrestler.
He does. Hulk Hogan, isn't it? Ooh, yeah. No, it's Macho Man Randy Savage, isn't it? That's it.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, dig it.
Alice, like, and then when the live with the orchestra, like, they really embrace the campness, and I think that's the best album. Like, it's brilliant.
S&M on it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Metallica, but I do like the odd bit and piece. But that is very good. That's
great.
Yeah.
I thought there'd be some Pink Floyd songs as well, for sure.
Yeah. That's one I would have expected. Okay, we've actually got a question.
I think we have a few.
Finally. Oh no, if you go up the top of the top right hand for me, probably right hand for you as well, there's a bit that says comments there. Click on that and you'll be able to see them. Okay, from Chris Hewitt. Hello, matey. What song will be your inspiration for Band 2? First thing that comes to mind. I'll go first. First thing that comes to mind, Barrel of a Gun, Depeche Mode. Yeah, I could do something fun with that. David? First thing that comes to mind.
Live and Let Die by McCartney.
Live and Let Die.
Not the Rose version, no, the McCartney.
No, I was going to say not Axel.
That's my favorite song as well, actually. Live and Let Die. Just the kind of weird reggae bit in the middle, especially, is something that
I love that in the Bond movie. That's great, isn't it?
Yeah,
it works really well. Right, Chris.
Everlong, Foo Fighters. One of my favorite songs. I love that one.
I'm just trying to think if I remember it. I don't know if I do. I'm not very familiar with them. Again, it's all like, this is all new to me. It's modern. This modern stuff.
Everlong is probably the best Foo Fighters song, I think.
I absolutely love that song. It's one of my favorite songs, and I have a very emotional reaction to it. So it's one of the songs I listen to a lot when I'm trying to like get in a mood for writing. So I love that one. That's probably the first one I would hit up if I was going for Band 2.
It's a great video as well. The video is really good. Yeah.
They did do some damn good videos. I remember there was a big hoo-ha when they first came out, because obviously it was like they were a bit tipped as like Nirvana too, but it didn't go in that direction. And their first single was "This Is a Call," wasn't it? I remember a friend of mine was a massive like grunge head, and he ran up to Margin Music in Macclesfield to buy the 7-inch single on the day it released. And I remember the video being kind of cool. And it seemed to a bit like Monkey Wrench had a cool video, didn't it?
Yeah,
if I remember.
Yeah, there was one of those bands that like kind of just had a lot of money, I suppose, and a lot of famous friends to do really cool videos. Like, I remember, like, I think maybe it was the second single was "For All the Cows," and I think that was the first one that I heard, because like I knew
that was the second one. Yes, the first one was "This Is a Call."
Yeah, I was only quite young. I was only like 11 or 12, I think, but I was into Nirvana already. And obviously that had finished by that point. And I heard "For All the Cows" on Radio 2. And I was like, why is it called "For All the Cows"? What a weird song.
Nirvana did that. There's some really peculiar names for songs. You know. Okay, yeah, we'll move on. Trisha?
Probably it would probably be Nick Cave, "Nobody's Baby Now," or anything by White Zombie.
Oh, White Zombie, which one?
Oh my goodness.
Supercharger Heaven might be a good one.
Maybe. I don't know. I would have
Monkey Brains. Suffer Astro Creep.
the one is it number 9? Is the
Real Solution 9. Yeah.
That's it.
The one with all the Manson family samples.
Yes.
It's Squeaky Fromme, innit? And Leslie Van Houten and all that, didn't they? Yeah. I remember her saying she's already dead. Susan Atkins.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that. I love that album. So good.
Yes.
Yeah. Such a great album. Okay, Holley.
I think I'd do something with like a Marilyn Manson song. I love his showmanship, his kind of over the top. When I talked earlier about like my background and growing up, being like a rebellious teenager in a very fundamentalist Christian place, one of the ways I rebelled was listening to Marilyn Manson as loud as I could get away with. And so that kind of was a music moment for me in my life that was important to me, and I've remained a fan of his since. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his music, but his album The Pale Emperor, which was only released a few years ago, is probably his best album he's ever done. It's a more bluesy kind of rock sound than what his older, like more, I guess, yeah, industrial.
Well, because they started off as an industrial band, pretty much. Right. I mean, started off very heavily influenced by obviously Nine Inch Nails, because obviously Trent helped on Antichrist Superstar.
Right.
But before that, because Daisy Berkowitz had been a session musician with people like My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think I'd probably do either Beautiful People or Tourniquet, because those are like my favorite of his earlier songs. I mean, Beautiful People was everywhere. That's what I think maybe got him big.
Tourniquet, that's one of. I'm not a huge fan, but I love that track. Tourniquet. Right. I love Tourniquet.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's We're Killing Strangers on Pale Emperor, isn't it?
Yes, and there's another really good one called Cupid Carries a Gun. That's a really, really great song. It's got this rock and like drum line in it. It's great. Yeah. It's a wonderful song.
Excellent. Right, we'll just have a look. We've had some more comments, so I don't know if we have any more questions. Again, I'm like I said earlier, I'm blind as a bat, so I'm struggling to see. Yeah. Deborah Groom loved how Chris qualified. The brother didn't sell his soul to anyone, but she knows that.
Yeah, that I know of. My brother, I'm never quite sure. He's a musician,
man. Musicians, man.
You gotta have some leg up to be a working musician these days. So.
Oh God, yeah.
I can't guarantee anything there.
Yeah. Okay, Matt Reynolds is a big fan of David's work.
As we all are.
As we all are, yeah. As if he needs his ego massaging anymore. I'm joking.
Facebook took care of that when they banned me from this event, if you remember.
They didn't ban you from the event.
Yeah. They saw my name and they were like,
Facebook police.
Yeah. They saw my name.
Out, man.
I know, they saw my name and they were like, we're just sick of this guy. Just get him away from the internet.
Oh, brilliant. Deborah Capples, Fractured Fairy Tales from Wacky and Ruggy Bullwinkle. I don't think so, but that's brilliant.
Well, I have to ask her. You know what? I'm gonna message her and ask her.
Yeah, do that. I daren't do anything else because my computer might just die and this will all just go to hell. Mean Cohen is so excited there's a Queen song in this. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. The link to Highlander is absolutely superb. Done that. Deborah Campbell said yes to Pink Floyd. Luke Emery says he's gutted that he missed the call, but his story for Wrath was based on a named after an Arctic Monkeys song, The Jeweler's Hand. Does anybody know that?
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, I know it.
Thought you would, you hipster, you.
Well, I wasn't into Arctic Monkeys, but I do like Queens of the Stone Age quite a lot. And then when they kind of got away from that kind of new era Britpop kind of thing, Josh Homme, obviously his name, produced their album, the AM album, I think it was.
Oh, right.
And it kind of changed the sound quite a lot. So that album's really good actually. It's a very different one from some of the other stuff that they've done. And I quite like
I don't know that. I'm not that familiar with them at all.
There's in a band as well. It's a twosome. The lead singer's in a band with someone else called The Last Shadow Puppets. They're pretty good as well.
I love the name.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a great band name. Yeah. An absolutely superb name.
Yeah.
Right. It looks like we've come to the end, unless there's any more questions. It doesn't look that right. So just before we go, we'll go round clockwise again. Just give us a little bit about what you're doing now, what you got coming out. Basically promote yourself a little bit, and I'll try and make the banners work so you can have your banner underneath you. We'll start with you, David.
Right. Okay.
Just released a book, haven't you?
I just had a book. Oh, yeah. I was trying to think then. I just had. I just had it's not a book, it's a novel called Dead Man Walking, which has got quite a lot of music in it actually, which is kind of weird. I didn't even realise I put quite a lot of music stuff in, like kind of modern day stuff that I write.
It was actually Nirvana, wasn't it? Or
Nirvana did quite a lot. Beatles.
Right at the beginning, it's is it
Scentless Apprentice?
Scentless Apprentice, which is a great track.
Track. So it's a nice and heavy one. The Beatles are mentioned. There's PJ Harvey's mentioned in it as well. There's a few.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So yeah, I do that. Like I do like putting music into scenes that are like contemporary ones anyway, just to kind of do that kind of stuff. So that's out at the moment. It's doing really well. Got into the Amazon top 50, which was great. And it's 99 whatever of your currency, cent or p or whatever, on for ebook, and there's paperbacks. I actually have some for sale as well. That if you want a signed copy, you can message me and get one. In terms of what's coming next, I'm writing a sequel to that one. I'm starting it tomorrow actually, because I just finished up something. I have an actual crime novel out in March called The Santa Monica Man, and then I have something in July which I can't yet talk about, but someone in this chat, if I'm pointing at her, may well be reading it quite soon.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's me.
Excellent. Chris?
I've got a short story coming out in December in Dreamforge magazine called Countryside, issue 7, I think. I'm pretty excited about that. I'll throw out 0 Hour coming out in January. 0 Hour 2113 coming out in January. I also have a couple shorts or a couple travels in Holiday Spirits coming out from WPC Press in December. And I believe Blood Crown should be coming out sometime this month or next month.
Yeah.
From Great Void Books. So I've got stories and all of those coming out.
Excellent. Yeah, keeping yourself nice and busy then. And of course, you're in another thing that you can't talk about with me and him as well.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the thing. I've got loads of stuff, but I can't talk about all of it. That's same with Trisha actually, and Holley. Funnily enough. Excellent. Right, so we'll move on to Trisha now. Yeah. Oh no, sorry. Start again.
Is it still me? Are we going?
You're there. You've just moved. Sorry. I clicked the wrong button.
I have my third book, Beyond the Chaos, is coming out December 10th. And I have a Christmas short story collection coming out on the 5th. And I have my podcast, Vox Vomitus, that's every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. And that's about it.
Yeah, no, Vox Vomitus, we'll just talk about that briefly, because you have some really good names on it. So you do that with Jennifer Gordon, don't you?
Jennifer Gordon and Alison Hubbard, yes.
Alison Hubbard, yeah. I need to come on. You still haven't asked me.
I'm not in charge of the guests.
I'm only joking. I was winding Jennifer up with this when I did After Hours with her. But yeah, I mean, you had Matt Ruff on recently, didn't you?
We did.
Lovecraft Country. Yeah.
Yes. Andrew Niederman. He actually the times, days got confused, something happened, but he is coming on in the future. He was the author of The Devil's Advocate, and he is the ghostwriter for VC Andrews.
I knew the name. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, we've had some great luck with the guests.
Yeah.
So, and it's so much fun.
It's a great show. It is a
Jennifer
great show.
and Allison are fantastic. So I'm usually the one in the background laughing. I'm kind of quiet, but I laugh, you know.
So the after hours that I did with Jennifer was hysterical. I need to get it. Oh, it was so funny, especially when she was telling me about a Randy Cockatiel. doing the actions and the noises. It was hilarious. I should have put it to music. It'd been like a techno track.
She's amazing.
Yeah, I love it a bit. She now says that I'm basically her long lost, very British brother.
You are very British.
I am very, very British. Yeah, I know. I can't help it.
You're the carry-on of Lovecraft.
I am. Yeah, I am very much. Yeah, carry-on writing, isn't it? Oh, I actually really had a great idea. I'm actually going to pitch it to somebody. I had this great idea for an anthology. I call it Carry On Cthulhu.
Yeah.
But a series of non-linked stories, but they basically have to be Lovecraftian, but also in the spirit of Carry On movies.
Yeah.
So lots of double entendre and whoops, where's your tentacle?
That'd be fantastic. So the rules would be they have to Lovecraftian, set in England, spirit of Carry On, and every single one has to have Kenneth Williams in it.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
they have to have Kenny in them. They have to have Kenny in them. Yeah. Cthulhu.
Yeah, Kenny is the one.
It'd be genius. Absolutely genius, I tell you.
Yeah,
I'm going to pitch it to somebody. I'm doing it. Decided.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Great idea. It's funny.
Yeah. Well, you lot, I'm going to drag you lot into it now. So before this gets any more ridiculous, Holly, bring this back to sanity, please.
Why me? Like, that's okay. So for things I currently have, I think I appeared in Erie River, It Calls from the Forest. So if you want to read something that I have out currently, my story Forest Man is there. It's probably the best received story I've written so far. I don't know if that means it's the best.
Rightfully so.
It's a great story. It's an amazing story.
So if you want, if you want to see me, who I am as a writer, pick that book up because Erie River's a great press. They're like Black Hare. They're small. They're indie. Great people run the press. We're really lucky in the indie horror community that there are a lot of small presses. There are a lot of writers. Everybody's very supportive. It's a great community. So check them out. If you want to see more from me, that's probably the story I would point you to. As far as things I have coming out, obviously Banned. It's going to be big. I hear it's great, full of great authors. So definitely check that out. In December, I have a story coming out in From the Further Trees, which is a small indie zine. And my story in that is called Lessons in Flight. In January, I have a story coming out in Wild Blood magazine called Coal Dust and Shadows. So you could check that out in January. Those are both fantasy more so than horror. And then at some point next year, I don't have release dates yet, but I'm in an anthology from Paver Press called Sonorous Silence. And I'm in an anthology from AM Inc. called The Half That You See, Nightmares, Deliriums, and Illusions. Aside from that, I have a couple of projects that, as mentioned before, I can't really talk about, but I will talk about them a lot when I'm able to.
one of them, which I know one of them that I'm probably going to do something like this.
You know two of them. You know two of them.
I do. Yes, I do know two of them. Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah. Funny enough, one of the things I'm working on at the minute is one of them, and not. Well, actually, I'm working on both of them at the minute, but one of them's just an edit job. Wink, wink. The other one I'm writing now. Yeah, you're done. Sorry, I just completely.
No, that's it from me. Yeah. I like I said, that's what I have. That's what I have had. And then again, when I can talk about the other stuff, I would love to talk about the other stuff.
Wonderful. Well, you definitely have your back. So this has been great fun. So we'll do this again. Before we go, I'll just tell you about myself. I've just released this little devil, Burning Reflection. It's either a long novelette or a short novella, depending on who's. It's what like he jokes about it all the time. Me and word counts. It's over the word count for a novella, over the word count for a novelette, but slightly under the word count for a novella. So it's in that kind of weird grey area.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm calling it.
Tim and Word have a very fluid relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, well, apart from the novelette length thing I'm working on at the minute that we just alluded to, I'm also working on a long novella, which is a sequel to that. Well, it's kind of a sequel-ish. Can I be any more vague? I've also got like I said, I'm in a load of projects, but I can't really talk about them. I've also got a few things coming out in some anthologies, like the beginning of next year. One I'm particularly happy about is I've got a story, An Encounter in Geether Vale, coming out in Shadows Over Avalon, which is from 18th Wall Productions, who've done a whole bunch of really good sort of Lovecraftian and Chambers kind of anthologies. I mean, they work a lot with people like Pete Rawlick and some really good writers that I'm a big fan of. And yeah, it is how it sounds. It's Lovecraft meets Arthurian legend. And I'm really, really pleased that got in there, because where the hell I would have put it any other if it didn't, I have no idea. It would have been this problem child that I could have never got rid of. So,
it's a great idea, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. I'm so lucky. I would have bought it anyway, because I mean, I buy a lot of that kind of thing. I mean, I've showed you before, haven't I? I've got like Shakespeare versus Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I've got Sinbad versus the great old ones here. I've got all this kind of weird stuff, mashup stuff. I love it. So I'm really happy. Excellent. Well, I'm just going to check these. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Burning Reflection is so well done. It's a must buy. Should have WF5. Yeah. I keep clicking the wrong thing. No, that's not it. There we go. That's the one. 8 p.m. It's 8 a.m. in Australia. Oh dear. It is, isn't it? That's so. I keep forgetting it's morning over there. Excellent. Well, again, thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, everybody for tuning in, and thank you guys for joining in. This has been fun. I'm sorry. I'm kind of lost. I've got confused with the technology. It's all got a bit nuts. It's
How much have you been doing?
A little bit. But we'll tell you about the how to get hold of these. If you want to get hold of the Drabble thing, there you go. Just go getbook.at/banddrabbles. And the book is out on, is it Monday? It's on the 30th. Yes. That's Monday, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. And again, just getbook.at/band. And as I said before, they have the playlist. There you go. That's how you get hold of that. And of course, if you like readers, writers, all of you, I urge you to check out Black Hare Press, because they not only have some superb anthologies, but they're delightful people as well.
Yes.
And they have absolutely. I mean, there's something that I think it was Trisha said earlier, and I know we spoke about this before, but actually we spoke about this before, about you kind of think horror writers are going to be all like kind of, but they're all lovely. We spoke about this when we did that interview, didn't we, Trisha? And,
yes, we are. We're lovely.
Yeah, it's just a lovable bunch, man. Yeah.
Believe us.
Yeah. Believe us.
Can you do that impression of a horror writer again, please? Your impression of a horror novel.
That's just me with a hangover, I think. Sorry. All right. Well, okay. So from me, oh God, from me, David Green, Chris Bannor, Holley Cornetto, and Trisha Mckee. Thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you all for taking part. It's been awesome. Bye.